So we're in After Effects and we're going to talk about compositions. In order to create a new composition in After Effects, you either click on this little button down here that says create a new composition, or you go up here to composition and do new composition. They're going to both take you to the same place. You click on that and we get the composition settings. Now I already have some compositions set up in here, so this is naming this comp 2. If it's the first one that you're making, it'll probably name it comp 1. Now the last preset that I had on here was this thing called HDTV 1080-24, which is actually what we're going to be using in this class. And as you see, it's on the list here. So this is a high definition television format. The resolution is 1080 and the frame rate is 24 frames per second. That's what that means. There's all sorts of different presets. When you click on those, it will make adjustments to the resolution here. So 1920 1080, it will change the frame rate. So if I were to choose a different one, if I chose the 2997, you'll see that it automatically changes that. If I go to like an old NTSC setting, you'll see that it'll also change the pixel aspect ratio. For this class, we're just gonna stick with the HDTV 1080-24. After you choose the preset, you can leave everything in this top section alone. We're not going to worry about anything in advanced or the 3D renderer. We're just going to stay in basic. And the next one down, this next area, resolution, just keep it at full resolution. Now the time code is something that we should look at. Of course, this very first section of numbers here, this is frames, seconds, minutes, and then hours. So we are used to looking at hours, minutes, and seconds. So don't let that confuse you. For the duration here, this is 15 seconds. Even though to us it might look like 15 minutes, there's 4 sections of numbers, and the last section to the right is frames. So this is 15 seconds and 0 frames. And then by default, the background color is black. You can change this to be whatever color you would like. If you want it to be something different, you can do that. I'm going to leave it black for now. And then when this looks good, you hit OK. And you'll see that it'll give you a little composition icon over here in the project bin. And most likely it will open up down here on the timeline and it will load in the viewer. If you needed to change something in the composition, then you would select the composition, you go to composition, and now composition settings. The keyboard shortcut, as you can see, is Command K. And then you could go in here and make adjustments. Like maybe I wanted this to be 10 seconds and I want the background to be something else. As you can see, it gives you a live update of the background color if you're changing it. Hit OK and 10 seconds, green background. All right, so this is how you create a composition in After Effects. Let's look a little bit closer at timecode and frame rate. So right here, this composition I have set up. I'll go to the composition settings. You see this is 24 frames per second. So 24 frames is the frame rate. And that means that every 24 frames, we start a new second. Remember, we're starting on a 0. So when it gets to 23, the next frame, it won't say 24. The next frame is going to say 1 second. It's still a total of 24 frames because we started on a 0. So if we start here on 0 and we type in 24, it will take us to 1 second. So this is 24 frames per second. Every 24 frames is a second.